My hands shook as I crumpled the HOA violation notice, the paper slicing into my palm like cheap revenge. "They're giving us 48 hours to tear down Jamie's wheelchair ramp," I said, staring at the backyard where my 6-year-old son was laughing, chasing fireflies like his legs weren't trapped in braces. Maria froze beside me, her coffee mug slipping. It shattered on the kitchen tiles, but neither of us moved. "That ramp's the only way he gets in and out of the house," she whispered. "They can't do this." They could, and they would. 3 days earlier, Mrs. Coulson, HOA president, retired dental hygienist and full-time nightmare, had stood on our porch in her pastel cardigan, smiling like a wolf. "Your ramp ruins the neighborhood aesthetic, Mr. Vega," she'd said, tapping her clipboard. "We have standards." Standards, right. The same standards that let her rip out Mrs. Nguyen's rose bushes last month because they attracted bees. But a ramp for a kid who couldn't walk? Suddenly, the HOA cared about property values. I didn't tell Maria about the other letter, the one threatening to fine us $500 a day if we didn't comply. Our savings were already bleeding dry from Jamie's surgeries. The bank had called twice this week about the mortgage. That night, I sat on the porch steps, staring at the ramp. Jamie's laughter still hung in the air, but all I could hear was Coulson's voice. "You don't belong here." I'd worked 2 jobs for a decade to buy this house, the only one in the subdivision with a yard flat enough for Jamie to play in. Now they wanted to take even that from him? Maria's hand gripped my shoulder. "We fight," she said, her voice raw. I nodded, but my throat tightened. Fighting meant lawyers. Lawyers meant money we didn't have. Then I remembered the box. Buried in the attic beneath my old Army uniforms was a folder labeled Property Law Amendments, 1988. My dad, a retired judge, had shoved it into my hands when we bought the house. "Choas hate this one," he'd chuckled. I'd rolled my eyes back then. Now my pulse roared as I flipped through the pages. Law number 1. ADA compliance overrides HOA restrictions. The words blurred. Jamie's ramp wasn't just legal, it was protected. Coulson knew, they all knew. This wasn't about aesthetics. This was a purge. The next morning, I parked outside the HOA office, the folder burning in my lap. Through the glass, I watched Coulson laugh with her secretary, her manicured fingers stroking a porcelain figurine. A damn angel. My knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. They'd targeted us because we were vulnerable. Because they thought we'd break, but they didn't know what my dad taught me. Never bring a rulebook to a war. The HOA office smelled like lemon sanitizer and lies. Coulson's smile froze when I slapped the folder on her desk. "Ada trumps your aesthetic," I said, leaning in. Her angel figurine wobbled. "Tear down that ramp, and we'll sue you into selling your precious figurines on eBay." She didn't flinch, just steepled her fingers, her coral nail polish matching the blood vessels in her eyes. "Oh, Alejandro," she sighed like I'd missed the punchline. "That law applies to public spaces. Your ramp is on private property." Nice try, though. The floor tilted. Private property. The words slithered through me. Maria had begged me to read the fine print last night, but I'd been too busy rehearsing this moment in the mirror. Coulson slid a new notice toward me. 48 hours starts now, and just so you know. She lowered her voice, sweet as arsenic. "We've reported concerns about Jamie's welfare to child services. All those expensive medical bills? A loving parent might have prioritized his care over whatever this is." She flicked the folder. I lunged, not at her, at the photo on her desk. Her grandson, gap-toothed and grinning at Disneyland. "You ever tell him he doesn't belong somewhere?" My voice cracked. Security dragged me out before she could answer. Maria screamed when the social worker arrived. Jamie hid under his blanket fort, humming the theme to Bluey like it could shield him. I stood there, useless, as the woman with the clipboard asked Maria why we hadn't replaced our rotting porch stairs. "The ramp is our priority," Maria snapped, tears smudging her mascara. "You think we enjoy living like this?" The social worker took notes. Always notes. That night, I uncorked my dad's bourbon, the one he'd gifted me when Jamie was born. "For when life kicks you in the teeth," he'd said. The bottle was halfway empty when I spotted the sticky note inside the folder. My dad's handwriting? Check page 37. Page 37 wasn't about ADA laws. It was a 1992 email chain between Coulson's late husband, may that crooked accountant rest in hell, and the original HOA board. They'd embezzled $1.4 million to build a community pool that never existed. My dad had circled one line: "Tell the Vegas to back off or we'll expose their son's DUIs." The Vegas? Our Vegas. Dad represented the HOA in court. Won them immunity? Buried this. The bourbon surged up my throat. He'd known. All those years, he'd known what this neighborhood was. What it would do to us. And he'd still handed me the folder like it was some trophy. Maria found me retching in the azaleas. "We're losing him," she said, not looking at me. Jamie's surgery date glowed on her phone. 11 days away. Without the ramp, we couldn't get him to the hospital van. Without the van, I wiped my mouth. "I'll fix this." Garrett, the quiet vet who lived next door, caught me digging through Coulson's trash at 3 a.m. "She shreds everything," he muttered, tossing me a USB. "Security cam footage from last Tuesday." On it, Coulson and the social worker laughed over Chardonnay in her living room. "Once the kid's in state care," Coulson said, "the ramp comes down and we evict them for failure to maintain residency." The social worker toasted. "To standards," Garrett spat. "My wife left me because of their standards." He nodded to my phone. "Burn them." But as I walked home, headlights blinded me. Coulson's Lexus. She rolled down the window, her face lit blue by her dashboard. "Your father begged me to go easy on you," she said. "But you're just like him, all pride, no plan." She tossed a photo at my feet. Maria, hugging a man outside a motel. Last Thursday, the day she'd said she was visiting her sister. The photo trembled in my hand like a live wire. Maria's smile in the picture, warm, unguarded, felt like a knife. I stormed into the house, the USB burning a hole in my pocket. She was at the kitchen table staring at Jamie's surgery paperwork. "Who is he?" I slammed the photo down. She palmed the edge of the table, her wedding band scratching the wood. "That's Lucas," she said quietly. "My brother. The one who's been in rehab for 6 months. The one I didn't want Jamie to know about yet." Her voice broke. "Coulson showed you this, didn't she?" The room spun. Lucas, Maria's brother who'd vanished after the funeral, who she'd sworn was traveling. I'd never met him, never tried to. Guilt curdled in my gut. "Why the motel?" "Because Mom's house is full of his triggers," she snapped, tears spilling. "He relapsed, Alejandro. I've been driving him to meetings, but sure, assume the worst." She shoved past me, her whisper sharp. "Just like your dad." The words hung like poison. I wanted to chase her, but Jamie's voice floated down the hall. "Daddy, my legs feel sleepy." Sleepy. The word he used when the pain cut deep. Garrett's USB taunted me. I plugged it into the library computer away from Maria. The footage showed Coulson and the social worker, yes, but then glitched. A timestamp blinked. 12:43 a.m. The night after the pool meeting, a second clip loaded. Coulson, alone, typing furiously. Zoom in, an email draft. Subject, offer on Vega property, $250,000 below market. The buyer, a LLC named Cedar Holdings. A quick search tied it to her nephew. They wanted our land. For what? My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Check your porch. A manila envelope. Inside, a grainy photo of my dad years younger, shaking hands with Coulson's husband. Behind them, the HOA office under construction. A scrawled note. He knew about the fraud. He paid them. The world narrowed. Dad helped build this place, funded it, all while pretending to hate HOAs, all while setting me up to fail. Maria didn't come home that night. Jamie's legs worsened. He couldn't even grip his stuffed dinosaur. I rocked him on the ramp, humming Bluey through tears. "We'll fix it, buddy," I lied. At dawn, headlights pierced the driveway. Garrett clutching a crowbar. "They're coming at noon. With a bulldozer?" He nodded to the ramp. "Coulson's orders." I stared at him. "Why help us?" His jaw twitched. "My wife? She didn't leave. Coulson had her deported over a damn fence." He spat. "I've been waiting for someone to fight." The ramp's wood creaked under my boots. Fight how? We had evidence, but no lawyer would touch this. Except the LLC document. Cedar Holdings. If Coulson was selling us out, maybe her own people would turn. "I need a favor," I told Garrett. By 11:30 a.m., I stood on Coulson's manicured lawn, flanked by 3 HOA board members. I played the USB clip of her plotting. "Resign," I said, "or this goes to the news." She laughed, watering her roses. "And admit what? You've got nothing." "Cedar Holdings does." I tossed the LLC papers. "Your nephew's little side hustle. How long till the others wonder why you're selling their homes off too?" The board members stiffened. "Lydia, what is this?" one demanded. Coulson's hose slipped, drenching her shoes. That's when the siren started. The siren screamed louder, slicing through the humid air. Red and blue lights flashed against Coulson's perfect rose bushes. 2 cops stepped out, hands resting on their belts. My throat tightened. Were they here for me? Coulson straightened, her voice honey-coated. "Officers, this man is trespassing and threatening us." She pointed at me, her nail like a dagger. One cop, a rookie with a baby face, glanced at the HOA board members shifting nervously behind her. The other, a grizzled sergeant, eyed the USB in my hand. "That evidence?" he grunted. Before I could speak, tires screeched. Maria's minivan skidded to a stop, kicking up gravel. She leapt out, hair wild, clutching a stack of papers. "This is evidence!" She thrust them at the sergeant. "Bank transfers from Cedar Holdings to Coulson's account. $500,000 for consulting fees." Coulson's rose-red lips paled. The board members erupted. "You sold us out." Maria locked eyes with me, raw and unapologetic. "Lucas helped me hack their servers. Turns out rehab teaches you more than sobriety." The sergeant scanned the documents, then nodded to the rookie. "Cuff her." Coulson jerked back. "You can't." The cuffs clicked. "Lydia Coulson, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and witness intimidation." Chaos erupted. Board members shouted. Reporters tipped off by Garrett swarmed the lawn. Coulson's angel figurine cracked under someone's boot. Garrett materialized beside me, crowbar still in hand. "Told you I'd burn them." But Maria was already sprinting toward the house. "Jamie's fever spiked. We need to go now." The hospital hallway buzzed with fluorescent dread. Machines beeped behind closed doors. Jamie's surgery was bumped up. Tonight. The doctor said words like nerve degeneration and last window. Maria gripped my arm, her nails drawing blood. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Check the news. On screen, Coulson's mugshot glared back. Headline screaming, "HOA Queenpin's empire crumbles." The reporter detailed it all. Embezzlement, bribes, the plot to seize our land. Viewers ate it up, but the last line froze me. Key evidence provided by retired Judge Manuel Vega. "Dad." Maria snatched the phone. "He's the one who leaked the bank transfers?" The bourbon bitterness rose in my throat. After years of silence, he'd chosen now to grow a conscience? To save his own legacy? Garrett called. Bulldozer's gone, but you should see the crowd at your house. Live footage showed neighbors on our lawn, not protesting. Building. Hammers swung, wood screeched. A new ramp, wider, sturdier, rose from the rubble. Mrs. Nguyen waved at the camera, holding a sign. ADA Law Number 1. We belong. Maria sobbed into my shoulder. They're fixing it? But the doctor appeared, face grim. We need to prep Jamie. In the OR waiting room, I clutched Dad's folder. Page 37's note. When you're ready, call me. His number, scribbled in haste. Maria slept fitfully, tear tracks glistening. I dialed. He answered on the first ring. Alejandro. Why? A pause. I tried to shield you, but Coulson, she threatened to expose you for your mom's medical debts. I couldn't let them terrorize my son. Silence, then. The fifth law. Page 62, I flipped to it. Law number 5, retaliatory acts void HOA authority. Use it, Dad said. Sue them into oblivion. The line died. Maria stirred. Who was that? I stared at Jamie's dinosaur stuffy on the floor. A ghost. At 3 a.m., the surgeon emerged. Jamie's stable, but the word hung like a guillotine. He'll need the wheelchair permanently. Soon. Maria crumpled. I held her, law number 5 burning in my pocket. We'd won the battle. But the war was just beginning. The wheelchair arrived on a Tuesday, bright blue like Jamie's favorite dinosaur. He traced the wheels with his fingers, quiet. Does this mean I'm a robot? He asked. Maria forced a laugh. Yeah, buddy, a superhero robot. But that night, I found her in the garage, slamming a hammer into the old ramp's splintered remains. They did this, she hissed, sweat and tears mixing on her cheeks. They broke him. I pulled her close, the hammer clattering. Her rage vibrated through me. We're not done, I said. Law number 5 pulsed in my mind. Retaliatory acts. Void HOA authority. The HOA emergency meeting was packed. Coulson's mugshot loomed on the projector, but her loyalists still filled the front row. Mrs. Nguyen shoved a stack of petitions at me. We're dissolving the board, but they, she glared at Coulson's cronies, want Cedar Holdings to take over. Garrett cornered me outside. Coulson's nephew's been sniffing around, offered me cash to forget what I saw. He handed me a burner phone. He's planning something. The first text popped up. You should have taken the dollars. Dad showed up unannounced, his suit wrinkled, eyes bloodshot. Maria slammed the door. You don't get to see him. Not here for Jamie. He thrust a legal brief at me. Cedar Holdings filed a lien against your house. Claims the ramp violates zoning. I laughed, bitter. You're helping now? I'm fixing what I broke. He pointed to the lien. They're using your own fight against you, but if you countersue under law number 5... Stop! Maria appeared, Jamie clinging to her leg. You don't get to save us. Dad knelt, eye level with Jamie. I'm sorry, he whispered. Jamie stared, then reached out and yanked Dad's gold watch off. Robot fuel, he declared, rolling away. For the first time in decades, Dad smiled. That night, the texts escalated. Check your shed. Inside, a dead raccoon, Coulson's necklace around its neck. A warning. Garrett helped me bury it. They're trying to scare you into selling. Too late for that. I handed him the burner. Text back. Make it $250K. His brow arched. You turning corrupt. Number setting a trap. Maria found the hidden camera in Jamie's room the next morning, taped under his bed frame. She didn't scream, just unplugged it, her face stone. We're leaving. We can't run. Watch me. She packed 3 backpacks, hand steady. I won't let them steal his childhood. Jamie watched, clutching his dinosaur. Is the robot leaving too? I knelt, heart cracking. Robots stay and fight, right? He blinked. But what if they break? Maria froze. Then we rebuild them, I said. The meetup was set. Midnight at Cedar Holdings' empty lot. Garrett wore a wire. I hid in the shadows. The nephew arrived, cocky in a tailored suit. Took you long enough, he sneered, tossing a briefcase. Garrett flipped the lid. Fake cash. Where's the real stuff? Lights blazed. Cops swarmed. The nephew lunged at Garrett, but I tackled him, his Rolex grinding into the dirt. You're done, I spat. He laughed. You think I'm the boss? A black sedan idled across the street. Window rolled down. A city councilman waved, then sped off. Maria was gone when I got home. A note on the fridge. At Mom's with Jamie. Can't do this anymore, the house echoed. Law number 5 papers fluttered in the draft. I texted Dad. Need a lawyer. His reply. Already here. Dad's lawyer was a pit bull in a pantsuit. Miss Rivera didn't smile, didn't sip the coffee I offered. Just spread Coulson's files across our kitchen table, now sticky with Maria's abandoned jam. Cedar Holdings is a shell, she said. The real money leads to the city council's urban renewal slush fund. She tapped a name. Councilman Riggs. The same man in the black sedan. He's been buying up distressed properties through proxies, Dad added, avoiding my glare. Your land sits on a planned transit route, worth 10 times once the HOA's gone. Jamie's crayon drawings fluttered under the AC vent. I'd found one this morning. Our house, a giant robot crushing Coulson's roses. Miss Rivera leaned in. We can bury Riggs, but you'll need to testify. Publicly. Bravely. Her tone sharpened. Your wife's departure complicates optics. Optics. Like Jamie's tears when he asked for Mama were a PR problem. Garrett hacked into Cedar's server again. Riggs has a daughter, he said, showing me her Instagram. Private school, equestrian trophies. Tuition paid by anonymous donations. He smirked. Guess who owns her horse barn? Coulson's nephew out on bail grinned in the barn's logo. I copied the files. Send everything to Rivera. Already did. Garrett hesitated. Maria's at her mom's. Lucas is there. He's not good. The text started an hour later. Unknown number. Bring the files to the barn, or the kids next. Attached, Jamie's school photo, circled in red. I didn't call Dad. Didn't tell Rivera. Just grabbed the crowbar and drove. The barn reeked of hay and money. Riggs' daughter's horse whinnied as I entered. The nephew stepped from the shadows, phone glowing. Where's the evidence? Where's Jamie? He smirked. Safe, for now. I swung, not at him, at the stall door. The horse bolted, trampling his phone. He lunged, but I ducked, slamming the crowbar into a feed bin. Oats exploded. A camera flashed. Garrett lurking in the loft, capturing every second. You're insane! The nephew spat, scrambling back. I advanced. You targeted my son! Sirens. Rivera's doing. The nephew fled, but not before I snatched his keys. One opened a storage room. Inside, blueprints for a high-rise where our house stood, and a folder labeled Vega Family Contingencies. Maria called at midnight. Lucas overdosed. He's in the ICU. Her voice was hollow. Jamie won't stop crying. The hospital hummed with beeps I couldn't unhear. Jamie slept curled in his wheelchair, dinosaur clutched to his chest. Maria's mom glared at me. You did this. In the chapel, Maria finally broke. I can't lose them both. I handed her the barn keys. Riggs is next. Help me finish this. She stared at the Virgin Mary's stained glass eyes. Law number 5 won't fix us. No, I said. But Jamie deserves to see us try. The press conference was Dad's idea. Go nuclear, he urged. Riggs can't silence everyone. Cameras flashed as I stepped to the mic, Jamie on my hip. Councilman Riggs stole homes. Hurt kids. My voice shook, including mine. Reporters leaned in. I uploaded Garrett's barn footage live. Riggs stormed out mid-question, but not before Jamie pointed at him and yelled, "Robot smash!" The clip went viral. That night, Maria unzipped her backpack in our half-built kitchen. Jamie wants his bed. I nodded, choking on gratitude. But as she hugged me, a text buzzed. Check the mail, a single rose petal, and Coulson's inmate ID photo smeared with blood. The rose petal crumbled in my fist, Coulson's blood-streaked face staring up from the table. Maria slammed the newspaper over it. "Don't let him see," she hissed, nodding to Jamie spinning in his wheelchair nearby. But the headline bled through. Coulson attacked in prison, suspects unknown. Garrett's burner buzzed, "Meet me." Now the park was empty, frost biting through my jacket. Garrett paced under a skeletal oak. "Coulson's not behind the threats," he said, shoving a security feed into my hands. The timestamp? Last night. Coulson in her cell, scrubbing blood off her knuckles, her own blood. "She faked the attack," I muttered. "Why?" "To get transferred. Look where they're moving her." He zoomed in, a medical van's route, right past our street. Maria refused to hide. "We're done running." She strapped Jamie into his chair, hands steady, but her pulse fluttered at her throat. "If she wants a show, give her one." At noon, we stood on the porch, Jamie bundled in dinosaur pajamas. The van crawled by, tinted windows sealing Coulson's fate. Or so I thought. A muffled bang echoed. The van swerved, then sped off. Jamie tugged my sleeve. "Robot heard something." Inside his wheelchair joystick, a gift from Mrs. Nguyen, was a hidden mic. "Press play. Transfer's a ruse. Riggs needs the kids silenced. Tonight." Maria vomited in the azaleas. Dad arrived with Rivera, their polished shoes tracking mud. "We got Riggs's accountant to flip," Rivera said. "He's testifying tomorrow, but if Riggs knows..." "He'll come for Jamie," I finished. Dad gripped my shoulder. "Let us take him, just until the trial." Maria laughed unhinged. "You think I'd trust you?" Jamie rolled between us, clutching his dinosaur. "Robot stays." We barricaded the house. Garrett hacked the street cams. Maria stocked canned beans. At dusk, headlights pierced the fog. Not Riggs, Lucas. Gaunt, trembling, he slumped on our steps. "They made me," he rasped. "Riggs's men. They said they'd kill Mom if I didn't..." Maria froze. "Didn't what?" A car door slammed. Lucas's eyes widened. "Run!" The first bullet shattered the porch light. Chaos. Maria yanked Jamie inside. I tackled Lucas as glass exploded. Garrett's voice crackled through the baby monitor. "Cops are 10 minutes out." Lucas groped his jacket. "Take it!" A flash drive. "Riggs's offshore accounts. I stole it when they... A second shot splintered the door. Maria screamed. I shoved Lucas toward the basement. "Stay with Jamie!" Alone, I faced the window. Shadows moved. 3, 4. Then a new sound. Growling. Mrs. Nguyen's pack of rescue mutts surged from the dark, teeth bared. A figure fled. The cops found Riggs's goon cuffed to a lamppost, dogs snarling at his ankles. But the flash drive was empty. "They played us," Garrett said. "Lucas's drive was bait." Maria slumped against the fridge. "Where's Lucas?" The basement door creaked. Blood trailed down the stairs. Lucas lay in Jamie's fort, a knife jutting from his gut. Jamie's toy stethoscope pressed to his chest. "Robot tried to fix." Paramedics pronounced him dead on arrival. In his palm, a crumpled photo. Me at the barn fight. The caption, "Who's next?" At dawn, Rivera called. "Riggs is dead. Car accident." Convenient. Maria packed again. "We're leaving, now." I didn't argue, but as we loaded the van, Jamie froze. Robot forgot something. He rolled back, grabbing Coulson's crumpled ID. She's sad. Under the blood, she'd scribbled, Law number 6, they'll always hate you. The van's engine hummed like a dying wasp as we sped down the highway, Jamie's wheelchair strapped in with bungee cords. Maria stared at the rear view, her knuckles white. She's still out there, she whispered. Coulson's blood-smeared ID sat between us, Law number 6 glaring like a curse. We didn't make it to the state line. A tire blew near the old quarry, sending us skidding into the gravel. Smoke curled from the hood as I yanked Jamie free. Maria grabbed the crowbar, her voice eerily calm. They're here. Headlights pierced the dust. Not cops, Coulson's nephew, flanked by 2 men in city worker vests. He grinned, swinging a baton. Riggs was small time. You think we'd let some crippled kid ruin decades of work? Jamie's joystick beeped. He'd rigged his wheelchair speakers to play Bluey at full blast. Robots ready, he shouted, too innocent to understand the men's laughter. But I saw Maria's hand slip into her pocket. The burner phone. The nephew lunged. I swung the crowbar, but he ducked, slamming me into the van. Maria screamed, clawing at the second man. Jamie rolled forward, Bluey blaring, and jammed his joystick into the nephew's knee. The man howled, stumbling back, right into Mrs. Nguyen's pickup truck. She stepped out, shotgun leveled. Remember my roses? Garrett's drone buzzed overhead, live streaming to Rivera. Coulson's got a parole hearing tomorrow, he barked through the speaker. Keep them talking. The nephew spat blood. You're all dead anyway. A click echoed. Coulson herself stepped from the shadows, a prison-issue shiv glinting. Law number 6, Alejandro, she rasped. They'll always hate you. Jamie rolled between us, dinosaur raised like a shield. Robot protects. Coulson froze. For a heartbeat, I saw it. The flicker the kid noticed. The sadness. Her eyes darted to the quarry's edge. Maria lunged, tackling her. They grappled, Coulson's shiv slicing Maria's arm. I dove, but the nephew yanked me back, then a roar. Dad's sedan plowed into the nephew, pinning him against the van. He stumbled out disheveled, holding a megaphone. The HOA's dissolved. Riggs's accounts are frozen. It's over. Coulson laughed, raw and broken. You don't get to win. She lunged at Jamie. Maria moved faster. The crowbar cracked Coulson's wrist, the shiv skittering into the dirt. You don't touch him, she hissed. Sirens wailed. Rivera's voice boomed from Garrett's drone. Lydia Coulson, you're live on every news channel. Surrender, now. Coulson sagged, her perfect hair matted with dust. I just wanted control. Jamie rolled closer, offering his dinosaur. You can hold Mr. Snaps. She stared, then broke, sobbing into her broken hands. The trial made headlines. Coulson got 25 years. The HOA disbanded. Dad sold his practice to fund Jamie's treatments. But that's not the end. Tonight, Maria and I sit on our new porch. No HOA, no roses, just wild sunflowers Jamie planted. He races his wheelchair through the dirt, laughing as Mrs. Nguyen's mutts give chase. Maria leans into me, her scars fading. We rebuilt. I hand her the final law from Dad's folder, now framed. Law number 5, retaliatory acts void HOA authority. She smirks. Should have led with that. Jamie whoops, chasing a firefly. Robot wins! Yeah, buddy, we all did.